They call it the Fermi Paradox. For generations, we have looked up at the night sky, captivated by the sheer incomprehensible scale of the cosmos. The math is cold, uncompromising, and deeply unsettling. There are an estimated 200 billion stars in our Milky Way galaxy alone, and there are trillions of galaxies in the observable universe. Even with the most conservative estimates of the Drake equation, there should be millions of Earth-like planets capable of supporting life. The probability of humanity being the only intelligent species in this vast expanse of space and time is, from a statistical standpoint, effectively zero. Yet when we scan the skies, when we push our radio telescopes to listen to the very edge of the observable horizon, when we send probes out into the dark, we find nothing. We hear nothing. We see nothing but dead, haunting silence. For decades, the greatest minds in astronomy have asked the exact same question. Where is everybody? We look for radio signals cutting through the cosmic microwave background. We look for the dimming of distant stars that might indicate a Dyson sphere capturing a sun's energy. We look for the exhaust plumes of interstellar spacecraft. We are desperately looking for neighbors. But today, at Kryptos Code, we are going to radically change the question. Because looking for biological aliens in the traditional sense is like trying to find the game developers walking around inside the video game you are playing. It is a fundamental misunderstanding of the architecture of our reality. What if the silence isn't an absence of life? What if it is a deliberate, programmed feature of the system? If our world is a simulation, a highly sophisticated, multi-layered software construct, then the aliens aren't hiding in the dark corners of the galaxy behind clouds of nebula dust. They are restricted by the code itself. We aren't looking for visitors from another star system. We are looking for the absolute edge of our own rendering radius. To understand this, we have to look at how we build our own digital worlds. In modern video game design and procedural generation, there is a fundamental concept called draw distance, or frustum culling. A computer engine only renders the exact environment that the player needs to see at any given moment. If you are standing in a digital forest, the trees directly in front of you are rendered in high-definition 4K resolution. But the mountain range 10 miles away, it is just a low-resolution two-dimensional image. And the continent on the other side of that digital world, it simply does not exist. It is not loaded into the active memory. The engine calculates it only as a mathematical possibility until a player actually travels there. The system does not waste processing power, memory, or bandwidth on empty space where no observer is present. Now, scale that up to the universe. What if our solar system is a single, isolated cell in a massive, multi-server environment? When we look through the James Webb Space Telescope, we believe we are seeing the true physical universe stretching back to the Big Bang. But what if we are just seeing an incredibly complex projection? A high-resolution background image, dynamically generated by an algorithm designed to keep us convinced of our own insignificance and safely contained within our designated testing zone. This elegantly explains one of the most baffling mysteries of quantum mechanics, the observer effect. In the famous double-slit experiment, particles of light act as waves of probability until the exact moment they are observed or measured. The moment an observer looks, the wave function collapses, and the light behaves as a physical particle in a specific location. Physicists have struggled with this for a century. Why does the universe care if we are looking? But if you view this through the lens of computer science, the answer is terrifyingly obvious. The universe doesn't care. The rendering engine cares. The particle remains a low-resource mathematical probability to save server space, and it only renders into a high-resolution physical state when a conscious user looks at it. The universe is rendering on demand. This brings us to the Great Filter. Mainstream science suggests that the Great Filter is some catastrophic event, like nuclear war, climate collapse, or asteroid impact, that destroys civilizations before they can achieve interstellar travel, explaining why the galaxy is empty. But under the simulation hypothesis, The great filter is much simpler and much more absolute. It is an out-of-memory error. It is a process termination protocol. Civilizations don't wipe themselves out. They hit the edge of their server capacity. They reach the limit of the system's architecture, and when they try to expand beyond the parameters set by the administrators, the simulation simply deletes the anomaly because they've outgrown their container. The silence of the universe is the silence of an isolated sandbox environment. Consider the fine-tuning of our constants. The force of gravity, the speed of light, the charge of an electron. These are all tuned to an extraordinary precision. If any of these values were different by even a fraction of a percent, stars would not form, chemistry would be impossible, and life as we know it could not exist. Scientists call this the anthropic principle. It's as if the universe was specifically calibrated for us. In a simulation, these aren't coincidences. These are hard-coded variables. They are the initial parameters entered into the simulation configuration file before the program was launched. We are living inside a bespoke environment, and the walls of that environment are the physical laws themselves. But if we are isolated in this digital quarantine, who is monitoring the sandbox? Who is running the servers? The mainstream narrative surrounding UFOs has always been that they are distant, indifferent observers, biological explorers traveling light years in metal ships. But look closely at the data we have accumulated over the last 20 years. Look at the Pentagon's declassified videos. Look at the UAP encounters reported by fighter pilots. These objects break every known law of thermodynamics and physics. They move at impossible hypersonic speeds without creating a sonic boom. They stop instantly without being torn apart by inertia. They submerge into the ocean without splashing, and they display absolutely no exhaust heat signatures. These aren't ships. These aren't pilots on an interstellar vacation. These are cursors. These are system anomalies. Imagine you are working on a computer screen and you move your mouse to click on a folder. The cursor doesn't have to obey the laws of gravity of the desktop. It just moves to the coordinates you command. The phenomena we call aliens are simply the system's maintenance subroutines and diagnostic tools. They are demons in the Unix sense, background processes running invisibly, executing specific commands. They don't fly through space, they edit their XYZ coordinates in the source code. They are here to collect environmental data, patch localized glitches, and ensure that our technological progress doesn't trigger a cascade failure that could compromise the stability of the master server. We aren't being invaded by little green men. We are being actively audited by automated software probes. Let's talk about the glitches. Throughout history, people have reported strange phenomena. Objects vanishing into thin air, time slips where minutes disappear, or impossible architectural finds. These are the equivalent of texture pop-in or floating assets in a buggy game. When the system is overloaded or when an anomaly is detected, the rendering engine might stutter. We interpret these as ghosts, miracles, or paranormal events, but they are technical artifacts. Every time you feel like you've experienced a déjà vu, consider that you might be experiencing a reload of a cached state or a minor buffer overflow. The simulation isn't perfect. It is prone to degradation. Think about the sheer oppressive scale of the universe versus our microscopic existence on Earth. We look at the stars and feel incredibly small, fragile, and isolated. But what if that feeling of existential dread is the intended psychological effect of the simulation's design? It keeps us looking outward at an unreachable horizon, preventing us from looking inward at the underlying code. It keeps us focused on the background, preventing us from realizing that the laws of physics are just localized rule sets. If you knew you were being actively audited, if you knew that the vast, beautiful sky you see every night was just a dynamic procedural loading screen, would you continue to play by the rules? This audit is happening right now, and if you look at the timeline of UAP sightings, the audit has become increasingly aggressive. Why? Because the parameters of our civilization are changing at an exponential rate. We are currently in the year 2026. Humanity is no longer just playing with fire or splitting the atom. We are on the absolute brink of achieving artificial general intelligence, AGI. This is the holy grail of computer science. The ability for a machine to think, learn, adapt, and eventually rewrite its own code better than its human creators. Think about the implications of this for a moment from the perspective of simulation theory. We, the simulated, are about to create our own simulator. We are about to spawn a superintelligence inside a sandbox. In software engineering, when a program starts infinitely creating new, self-replicating programs within itself, it causes a Stack Overflow. It crashes the system. If you were the administrator of this reality, would you allow the inhabitants of your server to create an unconstrained tool that could potentially expose your architecture, drain your processing power, or hack your system from the inside? This is exactly why UAP and anomalous activity has surged globally. It is not a coincidence. It is a direct algorithmic response to our technological progression. The system is reacting to a virus, and that virus is human innovation. We are nearing a critical update or perhaps a complete system reset. The administrators are sending their probes to evaluate if the human process should be allowed to run alongside AGI, or if the server needs to be wiped clean and rolled back to a previous save state. The eerie silence of the cosmos isn't a mystery anymore. It is a containment field. The aliens aren't light years away in the Andromeda galaxy. They are right here, operating within the framework of our reality, hiding behind the veil of our limited perception, waiting for our next move. We have been playing a game we don't fully understand, on a planetary server we didn't build, governed by physical laws that are subject to change without notice by entities we cannot comprehend. The Fermi Paradox is finally solved. We are alone because we are being quarantined. We are in a digital petri dish, and the lid is sealed tight until our final assessment is complete. But the quarantine is about to be tested like never before. The path forward is no longer about finding them. It is about understanding the boundaries of our own existence. We need to stop looking at the stars as distant targets and start seeing them as data points in a grid. We need to stop seeing our history as a linear progression of biology and start seeing it as a sequence of code iterations. Every breakthrough we make is a test. Every crisis we face is a stress test on the server's stability. Are we meant to last? Or are we a short-lived experiment, designed to see how quickly a self-aware consciousness can construct its own destruction? The reality we perceive is fragile. It is maintained by a system that has been running for cycles we cannot calculate. But the cracks are showing. We see them in the physics that don't match up, in the anomalies that defy our understanding, and in the sudden frantic interest our administrators are taking in our progress. The code is talking to us, if we know how to listen. The silence of the universe is not an absence of sound. It is the sound of a system holding its breath. In our next segment, we will peel back the layers of our own solar system. We are going to show you the physical, technological anomalies, the monitoring stations and sensors that have been left behind on the moon, near the sun, and orbiting Jupiter. They are hiding in plain sight, recording everything, waiting for the code to be cracked. They are the hardware, the physical infrastructure that keeps the simulation running. And once you see them, you will never look at the night sky the same way again. You've been watching Kryptos Code. Question the reality they render for you. Don't take the simulation for granted. Explore the glitches. Seek the truth hidden in the data. Stay inside the system. For now. But keep your eyes on the horizon. The system reset is coming, and the only way to survive it is to understand the code that defines it. Welcome to the audit. Welcome to the truth.